there are new signs that foul play may have played a role in the plane's disappearance.
The aircraft continued to ping a satellite to send it a signal for up to 5 hours after it last made contact.
Everything that investigators are learning at this point is raising a suspicion that this was no accident.
We begin with Malaysia Flight 370. It has been a full week since 239 passengers boarded the flight from Kuala Lumpur en route to Beijing. Searchers have yet to find a trace of the missing plane. But new data from Malaysian military radar reportedly shows the plane made unusual changes in altitude and altered its course more than once after it disappeared from air traffic radar, indicating the pilot was still in control of the jet. The plane is believed to have continued flying for more than 4 hours after diverting course to the west. Investigators are also reportedly concerned that tracking devices may have been intentionally turned off in the cockpit. They're also worried about sabotage. The U.S. Navy has now joined the expanded search in the vast Indian Ocean for the plane based on automated pings that were sent by the plane to satellites after radar contact was lost.
There are 4 or 5 possibilities which we are exploring. It could have been done intentionally. It could be done under duress. It could be done because of an explosion. We are looking at all the possibilities.
Joining us now from West Newtown, Massachusetts, is Al Jazeera transportation contributor Todd Curtis. He is the founder of airsafe.com, a website providing the public with information on airline safety. He's a former airline safety engineer at Boeing, and he has been involved in numerous plane crash investigations, including TWA Flight 800. Great to have you with us, Todd. Thanks for joining us. What do you make of these new reports? As we heard, Malaysian military radar showing that the plane changed altitude and course abruptly after the transponder was switched off. What could have caused that?
Well, there could have been many things that have caused that, and as I've stated a couple times before, the options of a deliberate action for a good reason, that is, pilots trying to deal with a situation on board, a system failure type situation, and deliberate actions for not so good reasons. For example, someone's maliciously trying to maneuver the airplane where it shouldn't be, either because it's being hijacked by an outside party or being commandeered by one of the pilots. Also, it could be a very complex, a very ongoing set of system failures within the airplane that could be having this kind of effect that we see that appears to be a deliberate action, but in fact could be the crew reacting to an emergency on board.
But why wouldn't we have heard from them, and why were all these systems turned off then?
Well, that's a great question, and there's no real answer to that unless and until that aircraft is recovered. And information from that aircraft, the black box information, cockpit voice recorder, and other data is gathered, because normally in an emergency, when time is of the essence, navigating the aircraft and maneuvering the aircraft toward a safe landing is far more important than communicating. But it seems to be in this case, there were hours of opportunity to communicate with the outside world through one means or another.
And the Wall Street Journal is reporting that the investigation is focusing on sabotage. Reuters is reporting that the investigation is focusing on foul play. But then we've got all that information about those ping signals from the plane that may show that it flew for hours after it disappeared. So how do you reconcile that with foul play?
It's hard to do so without additional information. For example, the FBI and other law enforcement agencies are investigating the backgrounds of the crew and the passengers. And if anything comes up which points towards some sort of conspiracy on the part of one or more people to do something to that plane, and those conspirators were on board, well, that clearly would lend credence to a sabotage or a hijacking scenario. But if nothing comes up there, if their records turn out clean, if there's nothing that points to a financial or political reason for doing this, then perhaps the hijacking theory isn't as strong as a multiple system failure theory. But again, without having that aircraft, without having the data and the physical structure of the aircraft, it's hard to determine which of those theories carries more water.
Yeah, it's what a mystery. Thank you, Todd, for joining us.